Hey, Derek Keet, Remax Elite. Today we have Mark Demong from 97th Street Law joining us.
Good day, everybody. Nice to see you.
Every week we come up with a different topic and we just discuss it and basically answer your questions. So this week we're talking about just basically the steps. So you've got steps that when a seller sells their property, there's the lawyer has to go through and do different things. So that's what we're talking about today. Before we get started, please like, subscribe, give us that thumbs up, show us some love.
You indicated in the questions, what would we do once you consult the lawyer? And I think I'll wind it back just a little bit there. If a person is thinking of selling their property, there's so many, whether it's YouTube or on the internet, so many good resources where some people look things up and they want to take things on their own. My recommendation is don't do that. Maybe inform yourself. And as I said, there are good videos. But the starting point, if you're selling a property, is what's my property worth? And how are you going to figure that out as a seller who's maybe sold one or two or three? Most people don't buy and sell properties once a week or however it might be. And so my suggestion would be get in touch with somebody who knows. Call a realtor. Do the right thing and figure things out that way. These people, it's their business. And so they make their money by being informed about the market. And I think as a starting point, that's where you want to be. Now, an organized realtor, and I can only say I've worked with Derek once and he was organized. It was the potential or prospective seller's lawyer who kind of disappeared on the job. But when Derek meets with a client, I assume that one of his first questions is about value. And once the value has been established, then there are a couple of other things that might be on his checklist. And I would think they start from, do you have a real property report if you're selling a single family dwelling? And if you don't know what a real property report is, Derek will help you out. Now,
we have another video for that, yes?
So he'll be addressing that question. He'll also be asking marital status, whose name is on the title, that sort of thing. So that's where the process begins. Figure out the value of your home, then list it. And very shortly, if you hire Derek, you're going to find that you'll get a buyer and an offer, and you'll have some things to go through. Now, once you found the buyer willing to pay a price and whatever other terms that you want in the contract, that's when you'll have a contract that may be conditional. Once the buyer waives conditions, that's usually when the lawyer gets engaged at that point. Through the realtor's conveyancing office, we'll get a copy of the contract, and from there we open our file, get in touch with our client to figure out some of the coordinating details.
Where the offer's in, everything's moving forward, and then getting everything set up. So making sure that they're going to be in the country, making sure that they're ready to kind of go through these processes. And all the ducks are lined, right?
That's exactly it. And from a seller's perspective, dealing with the lawyer, the process is pretty straightforward and pretty simple. There's usually just one signing meeting, and at that point, you'll need to identify yourself as a seller. I'll need to know that you are the person whose name is on the title. So we like to see government issue photo ID for that.
Basically, you've got completely different lawyers taking care of both sides, right?
Generally speaking, that's right.
Yeah. So then you've got you two connect then.
That's right. So from the time that I meet up with the seller for signing the closing documents package, which includes a transfer of land, at that point then I'm ready to reach out to the buyer's lawyer and place the buyer's lawyer on a number of conditions. These conditions are so that I can hand over signed closing paperwork, and I can rely on that lawyer to, on the closing date, deliver the cash to close, the balance of funds owing under the contract, and any adjustments for property taxes one way or another. So we send a courier with that paperwork over. The lawyer will then review my trust conditions, accept my trust conditions and the delivery of paperwork. And then usually it's probably 95% of the time we get paid the cash to close on the closing date. Usually around noon is the time that funds are delivered to our office.
Right.
Once we receive those funds, and keeping in mind, we've just met with our client for signing one time, and that's the only instruction that we need. If there's a mortgage to pay out, then we'll contact the lender directly so we get the exact amount that's owing to pay that mortgage off. And from the delivery of funds to my office, generally speaking, we turn over funds same day.
Leftover funds after all the fees are paid, the mortgage is paid out. And then after that, usually they'll instruct you, the seller would instruct you, okay, I would like to receive this to this account, or this goes here, or wherever they're kind of
And that's exactly it. That's the bottom line when a person is selling a property, what happens to the rest of the money.
For sure.
And most often these days, a client will give us access to their bank account, and access to the bank account just means a signature authorizing us to make a deposit, as well as verification details for the account through a PAD form, a pre-authorized deposit form, or a void check or something of that sort. And then we're able to make that deposit into the client's account, and they don't even have to come to our office to pick up the check. Some clients like to pick up a check because often it's a nice big one, but sometimes they prefer to avoid the traffic and running downtown themselves or running to the bank themselves. So
then it's paying off, making sure the title is clear and not everything is correct on the title, right?
And that's exactly right.
That's kind of the title's the main document that everything is, there's no problems with the title. You have clear title, right?
Correct, and that's part of that mention I made of trust conditions. One of the obligations that I put out in my trust condition is that I will ensure that the sale proceeds are used to clear, or may be used to clear any encumbrances against the title, which would include a mortgage that's still outstanding or a line of credit that's secured against the home.
Right. And then after that, as when the buyer says, or sorry, when the seller says, I'd like the cash or I'd like the extra money to go here, here, and here, that's, you distribute the funds, and then after that's all done, basically you have the key that you give it. So basically the key is released, right? And
Correct.
then
The key release is based on our receipt of that documents. Well, usually it's just a check from the other lawyer or verification that they've made a deposit to my account. So when that takes place, and again, that's usually around noon on the possession date, at that point we'll be in touch with the listing realtor to authorize the key release.
Awesome. So, I mean, basically that sums up the basic process for a seller. And thank you for joining us. And thanks. Have a great day, guys.
Welcome. Have a great day, everyone.